Thank you very much for inviting us, and we will keep to time. I'm going to give you a whistle-stop tour through the background of Shine and what we do, and then Fiona will put the meat on the bones by giving you a human story of one of the women that we've worked with. Both Kirsty spoke about developing a trauma approach with males as well as females, and Dave spoke about people. This, as Kate's just said, is very much about women who are in the criminal justice system. Next slide, please. Shine, can you take it back? Shine is a collaborative partnership with 7 delivery partners and an arrangement with Venture Trust as part of our exit strategy. We also work closely with Scottish Prison Service, Scottish Government and Social Work Scotland. Next slide, please. Shine is a direct response to the Commission of Women Offenders, which was set up by Kenny McCaskill when he was the Justice Minister in 2011. That report suggested or recommended intensive mentoring as a one-to-one relationship where practical support and monitoring is provided by mentors on a wide range of issues relating to offending behaviour, and it should be available to women offenders at risk of reoffending or custody to support compliance with court orders. I note that language in 2012, referring to women offenders, we don't use that now. We use women in the justice system or women in custody. Next slide, please. I assume you will all know the profile of women in the criminal justice system. So, as I said, it's a whistle-stop tour. Many have poor health, including high levels of mental health, which has been highlighted by Karen and also Kirsty. Childhood and ongoing trauma is prevalent in all of the women that we work with. The vast majority of them have substance misuse, and that's alcohol and drugs, and very often polydrug use as well as using alcohol. Many of them experience relationship difficulties, and that goes back to their childhood with their parents, with the relationships they then form, and with the relationships with their children. They have accommodation issues, many sofa surf or live in unsafe accommodation, and this includes homelessness, and that presents significant problems in terms of increasing the risks that they experience. Many have experienced domestic and sexual abuse both as children and also into adult life, and parenting issues, including the loss of a child or children. And for many women in this situation, they have never really reconciled with that, and sadly they go on to have other children, and often those traumatic experiences of having children removed, sometimes at birth, are repeated and repeated. Next slide, please. What are the core principles of Shine? This was built into the service as we originally developed and has been reinforced, but it's a non-judgmental service. It's about listening and encouraging women in their choices and to make changes. It's specifically about reducing the postcode lottery towards services, which was a factor that was found in the Commission for Women Offenders, and to provide a consistent approach across Scotland. We're available in all 29 mainland local authorities and have separate arrangements for the islands. We encourage and support access to essential services. Mentors provide emotional and practical support and encouragement, which is absolutely critical in developing a relationship with the women. It's a person-centered and is personal to individual women. Whilst the women we work with have many factors in common, they're all individual, and the service that they're offered will be to their individual needs. And we provide advocacy and hope to improve confidence and self-belief in the women. Next slide, please. Our target group, and this is set by Scottish Government, is women, young adult women and adult women 16 plus who are remanded in custody are serving a sentence of less than 4 years, and that's usually in the last 12 weeks of their sentence, or are subject of a community payback order and at risk of breach. The profile of the women is long-standing history of multiple and complex issues. Next slide, please. And this slide is really developed as a result of listening to the nearly 6,000 women that we've worked with since the service first began. It's about listening to what the women say, building trust with them, earning their respect, building a working relationship, being non-judgmental, and understanding the impact of trauma that relapse, disengagement and re-engagement is part and parcel of a woman's journey towards taking back charge of her life. Next slide, please. And this is a quote from a mentee, and I'll just let people read that themselves. Next slide, please. And that's just how to get in touch with us. And I'll hand over now to Fiona, who will talk to you about one of our cases. Thank you.
Thanks, Yvonne. Fiona, are you there?
Oh.
Fiona, you're still on mute.
Sorry, I know.
Oh, great.
Sorry.
Right, I'll hand over to you then. Thank you, and thanks for that, Yvonne.
Thanks. Somebody had to do that, didn't they? The case study that I'm about to just briefly go through has come directly from one of our mentors. This mentor was working with this woman pre-COVID, although the work continued with at the beginning of the lockdown. Kayla, the name of the mentee, was referred by criminal justice social work. The criminal justice social worker met with the mentor, which is normal practice, just to give some information prior to going to meet with the mentee. What the social worker said at the time was that Kayla was often abusive towards services, doesn't respond well to them, and does not take to being told what to do. And that has been an ongoing issue, really difficult to work with. The mentor was also told that she was emotionally erratic, that's a quote, and could be very hard to work with as a result. So one of the things that we were able to do at this time was to go and visit people in their own homes. So a social worker went along with Kayla and the mentor was introduced to her. What the mentor did, as she would always do, she gave an overview of the service. She told Kayla, and this is a real important point, that Shine service is totally voluntary. It's her choice, it's a person's choice if they want to work with Shine. But if she did want to work with Shine, they would talk about what she wanted to do or what she wanted to achieve. The mentor explained that Shine was about helping a person to take control of their life, and they had that conversation, and at the end of that, Kayla said that she wanted to sign up to Shine. So that was really positive. From there, the mentors clearly trying to build and maintain trust, and that was the biggest issue. An awful lot of the women we work with, they've no reason to trust us. They've no reason to trust anybody. A lot of their life, they feel they've been let down and they've been disappointed. And that's a big deal to try and build and then maintain that trust with individuals. So Kayla was able to tell the mentor that she was adopted, but she had a really difficult relationship with her adoptive parents and had ended all contact with them. She began using substances, and that was just her way of trying to cope with her sadness in her life and the trauma that she had experienced. She had been working with addiction services, but she had finished with them. She said they were just telling her what to do and she didn't want them in her life any longer, so she gave up there. Kayla's reason for coming into to work with criminal justice was violence. She had a very volatile relationship with her partner and she had been convicted of assaulting him. So that was the kind of background that we were working with this very volatile nature. We discovered one of the important things we look at with women in terms of just their basic needs. Kayla didn't have a GP. And to begin to start that process of healing, both emotionally and psychologically as well as physically, Kayla agreed that she would, if we went along with her, she would go and see a doctor. She'd been struck off before due to her unacceptable behaviour, but the mentor managed to get her re-registered with a local GP and supported her to attend. After a few visits, it was discovered, totally out of the blue, that Kayla was pregnant. She had a range of emotions around fear, down to or up to excitement. Kayla had older children, but they were removed from her care and she had no contact with them. So this was a major deal for Kayla in terms of this pregnancy. But within a few minutes of finding out, the mentor reported that she was pregnant. Kayla decided that she wanted to start fixing things as she saw it in her life. And it was a mentor's job to walk alongside with her and try and help her do this. She got her back into CBT counselling, which is what she had experienced before. Her engagement had been sporadic though, but Kayla asked if that could be set up for her again. She also asked if she could see a psychiatrist because she had previously been working within that service. What she really wanted to evidence was that she was doing everything she could to help herself and to hopefully keep the baby. A lot of Kaylee's abuse was racial abuse, and that was a big deal, and she'd come to attention of the courts through that. So with a bit of encouragement, Kayla was encouraged to go along to a local service, which was about working and addressing abusive behaviour. And that was voluntary, again, entirely voluntary, but she agreed to attend. And that was something we supported her to go. One of the things the mentor offered to Kayla was a safe space for her to rant. She had a great deal of frustration about what had happened to her, but her rant was often not accepted in some areas of her life. But the mentor decided that was something that she wanted to offer the opportunity, if she needed to meet with the mentor and to manage that rant, often racial towards others. But she also was attending the local hate crime service, and that seemed to be working, and Kayla would talk about that quite a lot to the mentor. She didn't have any confidence in herself, which is often the case with women we work with. And together, the mentor reported that they put plans in place to help her look after her mental health. Basic things like going for walks to help to calm, learning how to respond to stresses rather than reacting, spending time to look after herself, listen to music. The mentor also took her along to a local service that offers cheap holistic therapies, and she got a Reiki treatment, which she really, really enjoyed. They went on a picnic, creative writing workshop, but through these activities, Kayla discovered that she could start to learn how to relax and feel relaxed, and this was a major breakthrough. This was the first time she'd ever felt like this. The mentor actually gave her a notebook with some quotes written in it that she thought Kayla would like. And the notebook was to be the starting point for her to add to, or just look at when she was feeling down and needed some help, to see that change is possible.
Fiona, just to say that we're running over time quite a bit now, so just wanted to let you know.
Thank you. Thanks for that. I'm very close to the end. I just want to get to, I think, we need to hear the end of this. Okay. One of the most important roles was to provide encouragement and praise for the progress that she was making, especially with substance use. She stopped using substances when she discovered she was pregnant. She was getting scans. She was going for scans for her baby. She was excited to show the pictures off. The only person to take interest in them she saw at that time was her mentor, and that included her partner at that stage, who she was still with. The appointments were about listening to her concerns, raising her mood, making her feel good about herself, and she always felt she left the meetings ready to tackle some of the challenges. Kayla's close to shine. She was close to shine during COVID when the pandemic had started, but she still keeps in touch. She's now a mum. She's keeping this baby. And the baby was initially in the Child Protection Register, but she was able to provide sufficient evidence to social work that she was able to look after this baby. She's with her partner. Kayla shared pictures of her baby to her mentor, and she has decided that she doesn't need ongoing support. She saw psychiatry, she got a diagnosis which really made a difference to her. To get a diagnosis, it really helped her to understand some of her own behaviours and some of her own challenges. While it was very challenging for the mentor working with Kayla, the mentor reports it was amazing to see the positive changes Kayla made in the life over the almost year that the mentor worked with her. Thank you for listening to that.